Hi, welcome to the Founder Series. So, my name is Aryan, and I'm an associate partner consultant at Extraworks. And today we have Mr. Vivek from Venture Garage. So, hi Vivek.
Hi.
Can you please introduce yourself and share your journey in brief?
I'm part of Venture Garage. We are essentially, three partners. We're a team of about 20 people. Our essential interest is to relatively scan the market, look for early stage companies. We can then deploy some personal capital. We have an angel network from where we can deploy capital in those companies, and then we subsequently want to work with a promoter over a 2-3 year journey with the potential to either get to at least $100 million valuation on those companies, or if the company become profitable, to get to an IPO journey.
Right.
Hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years, maybe get to an SME or a main board IPO.
Yeah,
We
interesting.
now have about 55 portfolio companies.
So, when you look at the EV ecosystem in India, how do you decide which opportunities make sense for Venture Garage to back?
So see, I'm not an expert at EV, right? So we want somebody who, first and foremost, somebody who understands this ecosystem very, very well, right? See, the whole idea is to get an entrepreneur who's passionate about. I've seen China, right? So I've seen the way EV has penetrated there.
Right.
I see it's a matter of time the way it will penetrate into India, right? But then the characteristics are different, better, different price points, the whole ecosystem. How does this whole thing work? How do you get your distribution set up, your after sales service setups? So I think look for entrepreneurs who have that kind of understanding of this ecosystem, right? I think that's primarily what it is. We are not looking. What we are not wanting is somebody who's primarily just bringing stuff from outside and assembling and trying to, sell 1,000 bikes a month assembled, and that's not really what we're looking for. Somebody who's building something at the core level. Somebody will build some sort of operational or some sort of operational or at least distribution sort of success where we can potentially sell at least 100,000. For example, if you're doing two-wheelers, at least we should be in a position to sell 100,000 bikes in the next 2 to 3 years, right? India is selling 20 crores, right? So
Yeah.
100,000 is a small number.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that kind of stuff. So that's broadly what we want.
Understood. So, I heard that I've seen that Maxfold Energy is a great example of a startup you have supported for fundraising to IPO readiness. So, what stood out about their journey for you?
By the way, we've listed in Feb of this year.
Okay, interesting.
Max
Yeah.
Volt is listed. Uh, I knew the promoter from his earlier startup. So we started in 2019. I made a very small personal investment in the company. They essentially started with building lithium ion packs. So though obviously you still have to import lithium cells because we don't do cells in India, but there is still some setup in building that packaging. So a small unit of 6,000 square feet. Our intention with that company from day one was to build it profitably.
Okay.
So 23, 24, we felt we were on track to make about 5 crores of PAT. So, we then did we started talking to people who are engaged in the market.
Right.
24, 25, we then did a pre-IPO round at about 85 odd crore valuation. And then we subsequently onboarded a merchant banker and subsequently listed the company
Understood.
earlier this year. Our journey with this company is, so we originally started with a 6,000 premises with about 1,200 batteries capacity. Our main focus, however, is not that. Our main focus is that there is a huge amount of market in repurposing these cells.
Right.
Because a cell which is used in, let's say, mobility, that same cell can be used for stationary usage. So energy storage as a service, I think, will become a huge business. We are really interested in that business, part of the business. We already invested in a couple of companies in that space, but we believe that's a huge area. So we now set up a 30,000 square feet setup only for repurposing the cells. And recently we've now moved to a 50,000 square foot setup for building fresh batteries. and we've now acquired a large piece of land close to Ghaziabad. It's about 20,000 square meter of land where we will now build a recycling unit for lithium. So we want to go backward and get into repurposing and recycling because we believe that will become a very, very humongous. So that's the vision which we have at MaxVolt.
Okay.
So rather than front end and going into bikes or
Correct.
two-wheelers or three-wheelers or four-wheelers and such.
You're going towards end of
We are going the other end
yeah.
and say, can we recycle the cells? Because I think that we believe that's a huge. See, lithium has started happening in India since 16.
Correct.
The recycling market has just started happening.
Yeah.
The other thing, by the way, we did in MaxVolt is the easier thing would have been to just go to OEMs and try to sell them. 60% of our business is actually retail business. So we now have more than 450 retailers and distributors of our brand.
Okay.
So we thought we will build it like a consumer, hardcore consumer business rather than just going to OEMs. We said we will go to the market directly.
Okay.
So we've now built almost more than 450, 500 dealers across India. So that's the thought which we have there.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So, from your perspective, what makes an EV founder stand out? And is it the tech vision, the execution ability, or something else?
One main thing which we are looking at is honestly, operational sales strength. Because we find that, even if you can produce, the whole selling game in India is very, very different.
Yes.
And I think that is one key skill set we want to look at. So does the person come from that background? I do know a few people who build good tech in various areas of EV.
Right.
I know people who trying to build motor controllers. But finally, this whole business is going to be driven by your capacity to, for want of a better word, sales capacity.
Okay.
So I think that's what we want to look for. Is somebody who's more and more trying to manufacture as opposed to just buying and assembling.
Okay.
So thing which are people who are getting closer to manufacturing are the people we are into. At least part manufacturing. Okay, we still can't manufacture parts of it, but even if you can do 40% manufacturing, we are. So we want to put closer to people who are manufacturing as opposed to just buying and selling.
Okay. So, have you noticed any unique challenges these EV startups are facing in fundraising compared to, for example, SaaS or consumer tech companies?
I think, like I said, the EV, there are I think just UP probably has thousands of EV brands, two-wheeler brands.
Yeah.
Everybody got into this game of importing 2 containers from China, assembling it. That's very difficult to invest in those companies. Yeah, how can you invest? 95% of what you see is actually those type of companies. They are not investable, right? Was pretty much buying and assembling are not businesses which we can end up investing in. Otherwise, I think the business is closer to, in my view, a consumer business, not really a SaaS business. So I think the comparison from a fundraise viewpoint, I think is closer to a consumer business. But typically, we want to invest in consumer businesses where the founder has a strong sales background, sales marketing background, where there is understanding of branding, understanding of positioning. So that's the type of guy which we are looking for. So in our mind, it's closer to a consumer company as opposed to a SaaS company.
Understood. I mean, I definitely agree with your point on the founder prioritizing the brand, the marketing aspect, rather than just focusing on getting funds, right? Obviously, funds is one aspect, but even building that brand. So when a founder builds a brand, it'll automatically attract the funds.
That's the
exactly.
Which is why we think of it closer to a consumer business,
right?
As opposed to, let's say, so it's like a consumer durable business, right? So I think we have to look at it from that lens.
Right.
Not really a SaaS or an enterprise tech lens. It is not enterprise tech.
Right.
It's pretty much a consumer durable sort of business.
So if you imagine the Indian EV sector a decade from now, what role do you hope Venture Garage and its portfolio companies will be playing?
We hope at least our portfolio companies have 5 to 10% of the market here in these various spaces. But in the next 10 years, I believe that at least the entire two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and at least 50% of the four-wheeler market will be EV.
Right.
So I see that kind of change definitely happening. And a large part of the dominant part of the market. So in India, we cannot stop things. So things phase out, right? So when I'm saying these numbers, I mean new sales.
Yeah.
Like 5 years down the line, I think every new thing which will sell will probably be a EV.
Yeah.
Or let's say 5-7 years from now, maybe every car which will sell, 70% will be EV. So I see that happening. And battery, the energy storage, I broadly put it in that EV space only because that is connected. But I think that's another huge opportunity of this entire batteries, the storage. Because see, the more solar power we generate, the more storage we need.
Correct.
Because solar power usage and generation are at different time zones. Therefore, storage becomes super critical.
Yeah.
So going forward, I see energy saving, that whole business. It's another business we want to be part of. So these are the 2-3 areas, and hopefully some of our companies are leading this.
Right.
The other big space, in my view, in this space will become the recycling part of the story.
Right.
And that's, in fact, that it's in my mind the biggest focus area for us at this point of time. Can we get into the recycling part of the business?
Understood.
Because we believe that going forward, like for example, on batteries, earlier if I think the number was 30, like if you're selling 10 batteries, you probably have to buy back 3.
Okay.
You have to show proof that you've bought back 3. I think now they've changed that number to 6. I think it is called EPR. I'm forgetting the acronym. I think it's called EPR or something. So if you sell 10 batteries, you'll have to show proof of buying back 6. I think going forward, I may be a bit wrong with these exact numbers, but essentially I see the recycling as becoming part of standard operating procedure.
Right.
And I see that will become, in my mind, the biggest opportunity. So that is where, at least currently, we are putting a lot of our interest in.
Yeah, I mean, from the recycling aspect, I definitely agree. But also from the BSS part, I can also attest. I mean, I'm also researching a bit on that topic.
Yes, the BSS,
So,
right?
I mean, as a country, right, the grid can't increase. The infrastructure is already there.
Right.
So there's a need for some space.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So I definitely agree. BSS will also be a big
I
part.
agree. Wow.
You can say like an extension to EV as well, in a sense.
I think it is pretty much part of that EV ecosystem.
Right. Okay. So just 2 more questions. So do you see EV as just a mobility play, or do you see it converging with larger themes like clean energy, storage, and smart
Yeah,
cities?
it is. That's what I'm saying. It is actually converged already. I don't even think it is in the future. It is already converged. And it will have, because see, at the core of an electric vehicle is a battery, right?
Correct.
And half the vehicle is the battery,
Right.
right? In a typical machine, you're not carrying your fuel with you, right? Imagine if you were to build a car today, and if that car has a 10-year life, then you carry 10 years of petrol in that car.
Right.
Imagine if that was the scenario, then even petrol would become a big thing, right? It's just that you don't have to do it. But that is what you are doing, right? You are in an electric vehicle, you are carrying, let's say if a life of that cell is 7 years, you are carrying 7 years of fuel with you, right?
Definitely.
So it is 7 years of fuel in the car. So I think that the management of that fuel, I think, will become super critical. So it is already converged. There is no, because you see, you keep saying, let's say you say EV is clean.
Yeah.
If your battery creates so much pollution, then it defeats a lot of the purpose. So
Yeah.
you will have to set up a recycling business for the recycling system for the batteries. And they are recyclable. They are easily recyclable. So I definitely see that already converged. I see that big time converging.
So, I mean, the last question was more like what kind of EV founders or ventures you hope to see coming through Venture Garage. But I
already
think the
answered
answer
that
is
question.
pretty clear. So, like recycling or BSS space, these are two.
Yeah, these are two strong areas we want to. Also, EV manufacturing we are interested in.
Right.
If there is a, if you're able to, if you're close to manufacturing.
Like not assembly, but like
Matlab we are
Pure.
very totally no interest in is because so those are very price sensitive games. There's no brand which is getting built, right? It is pretty much downloading some containers and selling it. There's no quality control, you know.
yeah.
That's a bit of the challenge, right? And but that's here to stay. That I think
Yeah.
there are thousands of people in. I'm sure in India we'll have probably 20,000 people doing this. So it's here to stay. And now that the law says, right, that you can sell the vehicle without the battery, so that has become like rampant,
Oh yeah, I can.
right? So that's here to stay.
Right. All right. Thank you so much for the
Right?
interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.